So we call to you. We may not have the words, but we can call on the name of Jesus. We may not know what to say, but we can call on you, Jesus. You are the way maker. You are the miracle worker. Jesus, we call on you today. Jesus, we call on you to make a way. Jesus, we're calling on your great name, that name that is above every name. Jesus.
Let the church say yes. Oh, come on, Zion. Yes. Come on, it's a yes, Lord, in here. Yes. Come on, lift your voice. Yes. Ephesians chapter 6, verse number 17. You have it? Say amen. You got it. Look at the word of the Lord. It says, and take the helmet of salvation. Somebody say amen. Amen. That's all we're reading for now. Today we are in part 6 of our Weapons of Our Warfare series. Today I'm going to minister, I'm going to teach, I'm going to preach with this thought in our hearts and in our minds. Psychological warfare. Psychological warfare. Let's define psychological warfare. Psychological warfare is the use of propaganda against an enemy. It is supported by such military, economic, or political measures as may be required. In other words, it's propaganda that is used against an enemy that's supported by military strength and military force. It's propaganda that is used that they'll take the economic flow and take the money and take the resources. They'll use whatever. This is the definition. Psychological warfare says whatever measures are needed. Propaganda is just simply the spreading of ideas. Propaganda is the spreading of information. Propaganda is the spreading of rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. Now, we know what propaganda is. We see it on social media. We know what propaganda is. We see it all around us. Propaganda is a simple the fact that where they'll tell you that the 2020 election was rigged. That's propaganda. Propaganda is they'll tell you that COVID-19 is not real. Whenever it is that we are engaging psychological warfare, look at this. I must be properly protected. What's so important about the helmet? Literally, it is a protective headgear made of hard material to resist blows. The helmet was put in place to be able to stop the enemy from attacking one of the most vital parts of my body. Sure, the heart is one of the most important places, but that's why I have the breastplate of righteousness. But what the enemy also tries to do, he also tries to attack my head. Yes, he does. And so I got to put on the helmet of salvation so I'll be able to be ready for the attack of the enemy. All I'm saying to you is, my friend, that many of us are losing the war because we don't have our proper protection. Many of us are trying to deal with this world system and we're losing because we don't have our proper protection. Many of us are losing when it comes to the battle of our flesh. Our flesh is raging. My mind is telling me no, but my body, but I need the helmet of salvation to protect me. This helmet of salvation needs to be received. I need to be able to properly participate. What you're trying to say, bro, pastor, is called the helmet of salvation. In order for you to have the protected covering of salvation, you need to be saved. I must understand that I've been properly placed. That's what the enemy does. The enemy does all that he can, and he picks up his sword. There's a piece of utensil that they will fight with called a broadsword. Say broadsword. It's a broadsword. And the broadsword had two ends, as you see it. One side and another side, both were sharp. You know, Hebrews 4 talks about the two-edged sword. That's a broadsword. And what's the purpose of a broadsword? Because when the enemy comes to attack, he doesn't just always come from the front. He'll come from the back. You see this part of the helmet in the back? This is what this is for the broadsword, because the enemy will come and he'll swoop in and try to cut your head off. And all I'm trying to tell you, my friend, is the enemy of our soul. He tried to swoop in and cut us, and swoop in and chop our head off, and cause us to doubt what it is that God is doing and what God has done. Can I tell you that it's a battlefield of the mind? Somebody say the battlefield of the mind. The enemy is always coming. It's called psychological warfare. The enemy is always coming to try to fight me in my mind, and it always starts with a thought.